Right, ladies and gentlemen, let me say hi to every one of you guys. This is J Randy here, and again, it's Monday, the 18th of September. Welcome and welcome and welcome, and thank you guys so much for the opportunity. We are chasing our election day. We are chasing the month to get to our election. And we want to make sure that on this platform, we continue to give you refined, empirical, classical information that has to do with character of our politician, character of those who think they are into politics to persuade other people, and just want to make sure that we give you an informed decision. I'd like to say thank you for your support all the time, and I hope that you will continue to support this platform. We got a big hit yesterday on YouTube, and we took some action yesterday on YouTube, which I will be telling you shortly. This platform is for education purposes. We do not enforce feelings on this platform. In time to come, I will try to summarize what I'm saying here. I don't know whether Pam Butter is here, but I will be speaking to Pam Butter, my policy guy, on behavior and community expectation to give me a one page, I mean, not one page, but a one paragraph summary of the expectation of everyone here. But before that, I just like to speak on that briefly. We incorporate and we will tolerate and we welcome the comments, the response from everyone. But if for some reason you decide to take your emotional behavior, your aggressive behavior, and get on the platform and start to be very combative in your responsive, in a very, very unacceptable way, like causing your friend mom or causing other people mom, you will be black. Why it is true that we will not restrict you in other places, we will ensure that on the platform that you will not come here. There are criminals all around the world, right? In the country here, when you are a criminal here, they deport you. You go to another country, you do your thing there. As long as it's not happening in this country, the U.S. doesn't care. On this platform, no matter who you are, what you try to do here, how you try to express yourself, if you misbehavior, we will block you and we'll let you go. You can disagree with us, but do it professionally. Because in time to come, it's possible that your grandchild or even your son and daughter will likely watch this platform, and what you think will happen when he or she read a comment from you making a kind of unacceptable comment. It will not make them to be a proud son or daughter of you. So we want to encourage you to come on the platform, but put your feelings away and come here with your open minds and use your constitutional protected activities that align with our policy and our community expectation as we have the conversation. I'm not asking you to be here all the time. I'm not forcing you to be here. But what I expect of you is when you come here, we have our guiding principles, we have our rules that you need to comply with. If you don't comply with those things, we'll let you go. I am a Liberian, but I want to make sure that what make me to be a professional person, what make me to be a disciplined person is by the rules that are universally accepted by other people, irrespective of their race, tribe, religion. But as long it meet that universal standard of respect, you will be welcome on the platform here. So I just want to make that clear to everybody. So that way we can so we can be aligned here with what I have for you guys here today. I understand that our society from 1847 up to present, it has been very difficult for us to have a disciplined society. I understand that, but there has to be a time where we need to start from somewhere, and we're going to do it on this platform here. Hate me, love me, I am doing what I think is the right thing to do for our people and country. So in the meantime, let me just share the video here. As you can see here, this is our page here. All right. If you want to follow us here, this is our page. Please subscribe, and I would like to say thank you to all those who continue to subscribe on our platform. Thank you so much for continuously joining us here all the time. I want to appreciate you for that. Oh, my man Pamoto is here. Pamoto, how you doing? Pamoto, you need to summarize that thing you just wrote over there, and you need to send it to me by way of text because I want to like add it here. So what I would like to do here, Pamoto, and for everybody, let's say whenever the show starts, we're going to welcome people here, and there's going to be the image here. And then the next phase, we're going to say, we're going to tell you what we are all about here. You're going to read this here. And then the next thing, before we come to this page, before we get to this page here, Pamoto, you will be right in between here, right after here, you'll be in between this comment, that is the policy will be between this comment and this page here. So, Pamoto, if you listen to me, that is your assignment there, and you cannot say no to that assignment. So, Pamoto, you better get ready to take that assignment on. All right? You gotta get ready to take that assignment. Just write that thing for me. Send it to me anytime today, tomorrow. But I hope that I can get it before tomorrow podcast in the evening so that way we can start to do the right thing here. So again, I will not take no for an answer. Mr. Pambato out there, you need to be able to get that thing to me ASAP because we need to make sure that our show here and our platform establish some standards and some guidelines that will help our regular viewers, including myself, for every one of us to be all right. He just did. Yes. All right. He just did. Thank you very much, Pamoto. You know what I love about Pamoto? Pamoto is a disciplined guy. When you tell him to do something, he does it straight. That's good, Pamoto. So I would like to say thank you so much, Pamoto, for sending that to me. I will incorporate that after the show, and that will be our template for our show. Whenever we start, we'll read out, we'll welcome you, and then we'll give you our position statement or who we are, and then we'll tell you, we'll read to you or present the expectation on the show, and then from there we'll start to monitor and see what is happening here. So I'd like to say thank you guys so much for the opportunity. But in the meantime, please share the video, guys. We have another exciting conversation here tonight. Yes. So be my guest. Please join me. And I would like to say thanks to those who call me today. I often like to talk to you guys offline. So I'd like to say thanks to those who had a good conversation with me today, at least for us to get to know each other and to discuss the issue in the country. And thanks to every one of you guys. I appreciate you guys for the welcome and the appreciation and what you guys believe that I have been doing over time and stuff like that. So thank you guys so much for the opportunity. It's always good talking to you guys all the time. I will continue to do what I do best here. We are doing it in the interest of our people. We are doing it in the interest of the future of the country. We want to set some guidelines. We want to set some principle because we got a long way ahead. Government is not the only leader in any country. Citizen participation is also a constitutional protected activities that must be carried out by everyone in the country or in their country. So thank you guys for the opportunity. I appreciate you guys for that. Not to waste time with you guys here tonight. So as you can see here, this is our page here. If you don't want to be on Facebook Live, you can follow me on YouTube. The channel there is the J Randy Free Voice. Look me up, hit that subscribe button, and you will always get the alert. Next thing, you can go to Universal View or J Randy, and I think the Universal View or J Randy is doing extremely well. Also, too, we are gaining more recognition on our page, and of course, the J Randy J Dapo is another page that you can also join us as well. So, what do we have here for you guys tonight? Let me just get this thing off the screen here tonight. So tonight, all right, what we have here tonight, again, we are consistently presenting to you guys this election. This election campaign, we are doing our best on the platform to ensure that you guys clearly understand what the election should be about. And with that understanding, you're going to use that as a measure tools to evaluate not just the character of the candidates or the aspirant. You are going to measure their performance against the issue in the country. So this platform is mostly based on the issue in the country, and then we look at the participant from the president to the opposition, looking at what they have identified, discussing the understanding, and looking at the solution that they want to present that would put the country on the pathway that they believe is the right way. But on here, we will make sure that we evaluate that path to determine whether it meets today's reality and be prepared to take on the future challenges. So we equipping people here with knowledge. That knowledge include logical and analytical understanding of things. That's what we're doing here, and that's why we continuously asking you guys for your continuous support. Promoter, if you have our cash please post it over there. You are under no pressure. We are not here to tell you say we got equipment for it. When you listen to Stanton Witherspoon scamming people, that's why I said his nickname is Scamton. All right, he's a scammer. This man told the Liberian people, his follower on his show, that he had equipment problem. How can a man who had a show that used to say God bless you, how can a man who told his own self and look at Sam Jackson and say, I will pay for how much the Liberian government owes you? How can a man during the county meet took thousands of dollars and gave it to the Liberian people? How can he come back today to tell the Liberian people that he has equipment problem? That guy is nothing but a scammer. Yes, he is a scammer. And we'll also make sure that we make the Liberian people to understand that not everything that glitter is gold. We want to make sure we also make them to understand that there are Liberians in the United States and other parts of the world that are working so hard, and we need to make sure that we recognize that and we thank them for that. Even if they cannot give you the gold on the street of heaven, whatever they are doing here to maintain the character of Liberia and to make you proud as a Liberian, whether they are janitor working and mapping floor, whether they are CNA, they are RN, they are, as long as they are earning a degree honestly, whether they carry PhD or whether they carry a certificate, as long as they are doing it in the eyes of fairness, equity, and equality, I also want Liberians to understand that there are good Liberians out here that will make you proud. We will not allow a criminal to become the sun or the moon in our country. We will not allow that here. J. Randy will not allow that here. Before someone came to this country, we marry our pathway to get here. Just how you saw Mr. Weir play for local clubs in Liberia, work away, went to Tunnel to play in Cameroon. From there, he transported into Europe. That is what we call building for yourself a success. Many of you guys got your personal story to tell. We will not and we should not allow anyone to come and fake a system and then allow a few people to see them as someone who has brought something good to our country. We will not allow that on here. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, be my guest. Be my guest. We will begin the show by looking at this guy here. This guy by the name of Stanton Witherspoon, there go his story right there. That is his story right there. This guy, that is the championship, that is the Ballon d'Or that he won in America here. Federal prosecutor have charged 27 school operator and recruiter, including Stanton Witherspoon of Burlington County. Authority alleged that Mr. Witherspoon, a partner of now closed Siena College of Health in Broward County, Florida, also helped orchestrate fraudulent diploma and transcript from school. That is the man that you guys are looking up to as a mentor. That is the guy that you guys are looking to as someone who has some political influence. When in the country, he's nobody. How dare some of you guys want to bring shame to us as Liberians, to look at a guy like this and think that he can be a hero. Don't run away from the platform. Stay here. Make yourself proud. Make your children proud. So that way when you're sitting down in your old age, you say, yes, when he did wrong and misrepresented our country, I was on J. Randy platform and I said something. Let me show you the video because I was there. This man brought shame to every Liberian, including the unborn Liberian, because what he's looking at right now, and you know the United States, this information will be kept for many, many years to come. So it's not just for now. It is not just for your generation. It's going to be for the next generation. Whenever the guy's name is tapped into the federal system of the United States, you will be reading the very thing here 20 years from now, 40 years from now. That's who the man is. That's what he has done. That's what he has done. That's what the man has done. That's what he has done. In addition to that, let's skip the page here. Listen to what he also has done too.
Is the local connection to what federal investigators call a massive scheme to sell fake nursing degrees. We learned today that 2 Burlington County residents are among 25 people charged with operating the nationwide ring. Now, according to investigators, the group peddled more than 7,000 bogus degrees and nursing certificates to the tune of more than $100 million. Action News reporter John Paul joining us live in Camden tonight. And John, the feds say some of these fake nurses put real patients in danger.
Yeah, and that is the real concern tonight, Brian, that they may not have the background to actually treat people in a hospital-type setting. You know, I've confirmed tonight that Delaware actually annulled the licenses of 26 nurses already. And the feds tonight, they're charging people across the country, including 2 in South Jersey.
All of us feel this is egregious.
Strong words from the executive director of Delaware's Board of Nursing after learning of a massive scheme out of Florida to sell fake nursing degrees. And tonight, we've confirmed 26 nurses in Delaware had their licenses annulled in connection to the fake degrees.
These people who went to these Florida schools did not complete the curriculum, the education, and the clinical training that is required of all nurses to be eligible to sit to take their licensure exam and to be licensed as a nurse.
She says there are no reports of patients being harmed, but tonight 25 people across the country face charges for their involvement in the scheme that brought in more than $100 million, including Stanton Witherspoon and Alfred Sellew of Burlington County, New Jersey. He's home? Okay. Can we talk to him? We tracked down Witherspoon at his home in Burlington today, but family members said he couldn't talk. Over the phone, he told me he had to check in with his lawyer. Wednesday night, the Department of Justice released findings of what was dubbed Operation Nightingale.
When we talk about a nurse's education and credentials, shortcut is not a word we want to use.
Now the FBI is working to notify state nursing boards to ensure that unqualified nurses are not working in healthcare.
You're playing with people's health. How dare you play with someone's health like that?
Yeah, you heard that woman there? This is the man that people follow all the time. A man who issued fake nursing degree That is the trophy that he giving to people out here, or he was trying to give to people out here. How dare, let me copy from that woman, how dare this guy decide to bypass a system in this country? And some of you guys that your people look up to from Liberia, walking in the community, looking at their friends and say, my aunt in America, my sister in America, she's worked very hard, or he's working hard, but you hear supporting a criminal. That's not being Liberian. Liberians, we are a proud set of people. We may not be from a rich country. We may not be rich as a large population of people, but we should understand that Liberians, what makes us to be more Liberian is our ability to work hard. There is not anywhere in the country that you will not go and see a Liberian working hard to prove to the society that we can compete. And I must honor you guys and thank you guys for a job well done. However, to those who are your brothers and sisters, who are supporting people who try to defame, to shame our country, you and myself, we need to make sure that we clearly state our position to them, that it is wrong to support someone who has been given the opportunity. Stanton Witherspoon has been given the opportunity in this country to be a very good person, but do it in an honest way. Why you can't do the same thing that he has done? Because you don't want your name to be in the news for the wrong reason. This guy they call Stanton Witherspoon has put himself into the picture of being a guy who issued fake degrees, and that's somebody you want to follow? Is that what will make you to be proud? Try to set some line. Every shoe you put on, there is a size that fits you. Every shirt, dress, pants, skirt you put on, there is a size. Why it is true we are all Liberians in the country? Let our size be a size that fit us in order to represent who we are. This man's size is not your size that you need to put on. He chose a size that make us to look bad in this country. And there's no reason you should be on that platform supporting him. You will be shaming yourself. You will be naming your country and shaming yourself and shaming every one of us here. You don't find American people or anyone who knows him to that he's so fake diplomat to. Do you see them coming on his show? They see him as a thief. They see him as a criminal. They see him as a fraudster. They see him as a con man. And none of them will come on that show to watch him because he tried to defraud people of what they deserve. And I want you guys to understand that. There's nothing wrong with people making mistakes. But when you make a deliberate mistake, it's irreversible. What he did, it was deliberate. And that's why the federal prosecutor got involved. And that's why they classify it as shortcut. Because he understood it. And he said, I'm going to do it. And he went ahead and did it. And guess what happened to him? This is why he got this punishment here today.
All constitutional rights. And all the properties, all your back is school that will grant.
Listen to this.
We are interested to ask them, what level of education did you obtain, Mr. Benadell? The highest level, associate degree. Mr. Stanton Witherspoon, the highest level education, associate degree.
There's nothing wrong with you having an associate degree. Absolutely nothing wrong. But what do you do with the degree is what people will bring into question. Stanton Witherspoon is an associate degree holder. That's fine. But how can someone with an associate degree put the lives of many people at risk by setting fake credentials? And that's what This quote make the Liberian people and the world to understand that you can be whatever you want to be in this country. Make sure you do not take shortcut that harm other people or put other people in harm's way. Let's listen to this gentleman here give us a vivid breakdown.
Yeah, and they were asked what institution did they achieve these degrees, and Mr. Benedell said he got his AA degree from the Bronx.
The Bronx in New York.
In New York.
Yeah.
And Mr. Weatherspoon said he got his AA degree from
New Jersey. Yeah.
Some nurses.
Burlington.
Yeah,
in New Jersey. Yeah.
They answered no to drug use.
Right. Are you under any prescribed drugs? No. Are you taking abuse substance or you're abusing substance? No.
And the judge wanted to know, with the aforementioned answer, are you satisfied with the counsel being given you?
The counsel being given you by your lawyers. Are you satisfied? Are you okay with what your lawyers told you? Both answer in the affirmative. Yes, Your Honor. The judge also asked them, were you promised anything by your lawyers or anybody or the prosecution? Said, no, Your Honor. Both answered, no, Your Honor.
And then he said, with all being said, you have been charged with count one.
Count one.
Conspiracy or conspiring to commit wire fraud.
Yeah.
Which is a federal offense.
Federal offense. Are you aware?
And understand.
This crime is punishable by 20 years.
And
they both answer yes.
Let me hold you right there. Let's challenge every one of our intelligence. Our God giving him intelligence. Did you hear what the two gentlemen just informed us about? That Stanton Witherspoon, the judge did not say you are, but according to them, the judge told them, are you aware and do you understand the crime that you are being accused of and you are being charged? Do you understand that crime? Yes. And do you also understand the time, the maximum or the minimum? Yes. And that is wire fraud. How many of you guys today who sat on that platform and begin to issue that man money? People work hard for their money. He took their money and lied to them. Those of you who gave that man money, those of you who support that man, you working very hard in this country. You show up to work on time. You beat the traffic. People give you finger. People stare at you in the traffic. People blow their horn, flash their light behind you. In the midst of all of that, your end game is to get to work on time or to be able to leave from work and get home safely. But at the same time, you're putting in your hours and your time to make sure that you meet your daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, and long-term goal. And out of a blue sky or out of a dark sky, you got a criminal who comes in and scam you of your money and telling you, oh yes, give me your hard-earned money. I will give you a certificate or a diploma that will make you to be a nurse. A man who has been charged with wire fraud by the federal authority of the United States of America. When you tell people I'm about to go get my citizenship, I'm going to do my FBI investigation, where they clear you and make you to be a decent citizen or resident of this country based on your background. Those processes you go through, those steps that you take, you are working with a man who is on the wrong side of the law. Let's listen here more, because this is very important.
And then, after they answered yes, the judge went to the charge sheet.
Yeah.
They were talking about forfeiture.
Forfeiture.
Touch on that a little bit.
Forfeiture. The judge then asks the the prosecution say, with this guilty plea from these people, what do you seek? What do you seek? And the prosecution or prosecutor got on his feet and said, we are interested in all of the properties we listed in the indictment and proceeding motions that were filed.
If you're just joining us, guys, we are just beginning our Monday night discussion, and our focus point on the show tonight is about this guy called Stanton Witherspoon. He's right above me here, This guy is a criminal. He tried to sell fake credentials to Americans and wanted them to go into the medical field to cause the severe damage not only to Americans, but to also you as well. And I want you to understand that we as Liberians who believe in fairness do not support this guy's bad behavior. We do not support his bad behavior. Why we do not support his bad behavior? Because he made us shame. Let's step into something else again for those of you that are just coming on board here.
Fake nursing degrees. We learned today that 2 Burlington County residents are among 25 people charged with operating the nationwide ring. Now, according to investigators, the group peddled more than 7,000 bogus degrees and nursing certificates to the tune of more than $100 million. Action News reporter John Paul joining us live in Camden tonight. And John, the feds say some of these fake nurses put real patients in danger.
Yeah, and that is the real concern tonight, Brian, that they may not have the background to actually treat people in a hospital-type setting. You know, I've confirmed tonight that Delaware actually annulled the licenses of 26 nurses already. And the feds tonight, they're charging people across the country, including 2 in South Jersey.
All of us feel this is egregious.
Strong words from the executive director of Delaware's Board of Nursing after learning of a massive scheme out of Florida to sell fake nursing degrees. And tonight, we've confirmed 26 nurses in Delaware had their licenses annulled in connection to the fake degrees.
These people who went to these Florida schools did not complete the curriculum, the education, and the clinical training that is required of all nurses to be eligible to sit to take their licensure exam and to be licensed as a nurse.
She says there are no reports of patients being harmed, but tonight 25 people across the country face charges for their involvement in the scheme that brought in more than $100 million, including Stanton Witherspoon and Alfred Sellew of Burlington County, New Jersey. He's home? Okay. Can we talk to him? We tracked down Witherspoon at his home in Burlington today, but family members said he couldn't talk. Over the phone, he told me he had to check in with his lawyer. Wednesday night, the Department of Justice released findings of what was dubbed Operation Nightingale.
When we talk about a nurse's education and credentials, shortcut is not a word we want to use.
Now the FBI is working to notify state nursing boards to ensure that unqualified nurses are not working in healthcare.
Yep.
Can you imagine that? Can you imagine? Let's finish with it. Let's finish with this lady here.
Playing with people's health. How dare you play with someone's health like that?
How dare you play with someone's health like that? Because that's not what Americans believe. They don't believe in shortcut. We that live in this country don't believe in shortcut. Those of you who follow that man, listen to one of the biggest, and I mean the biggest talk show in the United States, especially on the West Coast. What this guy is going to say. Listen to him right now.
Fake diplomas. That's right. 25 people have been charged, and man, I wish I had all of their names. But let's talk about the schools. Palm Beach School of Nursing, Siena College, and Sacred Heart International Institute are all accused by the Justice Department of selling 7,600 diplomas and transcripts to people seeking licenses and jobs as registered practical and vocational nurses. As much as y'all complain about them people, and by them people, I mean the DOJ and the FBI, y'all sure make it easy for the house that J. Edgar Hoover built to get on y'all ass. Now, I know I told y'all I didn't want to think much this morning, And this is a story that doesn't make me think at all. Okay, this story does not require much thought because it's simple. Y'all fools is lazy. You're always looking for shortcuts. It's a
Yep.
bunch of people who don't want to work out, don't have the
Yep.
discipline to eat right. You just want to BBL your way to the top. Well, that ain't how life works.
You hear that guy? That is a born American who interact with African. He had a Nigerian girl on his shoulder all the time. He was very proud of her. But look, when it comes to our fellow Liberian brother, look how he is tearing down us. You can feel it in your soul. You can feel it in your bone. Continue, Shalom.
I mean, you can do it, okay, but the results you're looking for will not be everlasting. You will not be able to maintain that desired look. But we will discuss after we break down what happened at these nursing schools. In fact, I don't got to break nothing down. Let's go to NBC 6 News for the report, please.
It's called Operation Nightingale. Thousands and thousands of people taking shortcuts to become nurses. And officials say Operation Nightingale took aim at harmful fraud affecting public health. In total, 25 people charged, accused of operating and recruiting for 3 South Florida nursing schools.
The schools, they prepared and sold fake nursing school diplomas and transcripts to nursing candidates, knowing that the candidates would use those false documents to, 1, sit for nursing board examinations, secure nursing licenses, and 3, ultimately obtain nursing jobs.
The alleged scheme, sell fake nursing diplomas and transcripts. The U.S. Attorney, FBI, and Inspector General say the school sold 7,600 fake nursing diplomas since 2016. The price, $15,000 a pop. Netting more than $114 million. Investigators say of the thousands of diplomas sold, about a third are people actually practicing medicine.
Criminal behavior. That's what the guy did. This guy right here. That's the humiliation he brought to us. But let's listen here. And folks, you need to share the video. People come on the platform and insult your mothers, they insult your aunt, and you share it. You have to make sure you share the video in every group. Let the Liberian people get to understand how the Americans consider this guy up here to be a man who wants to live by shortcut because he's incompetent. Let's listen to the guy who went to the court there for the hearing.
All of the properties. And then they asked Stanton Witherspoon, are you aware you're going to be forfeiting your properties with this guilty plea? He said, yes, Your Honor.
And the judge wanted to know how the information was attained.
How it was attained.
And the federal system said through bank records.
Bank records.
All financial records.
All financial records, text messaging, or emails, all modes of communication. And the judge asked the prosecution, can you prove beyond a reasonable doubt whether these people pleading guilty today or not? But can you prove? How will you prove that they committed a crime? And the prosecution said, Judge, Your Honor, if we went to trial, we could prove beyond a reasonable doubt that these things happened, that they committed these crimes. Because one, Stanton Witherspoon does not have the qualification to open a school that will grant degrees.
Wow.
So he partnered with this lady. She was not in court, who has the qualification to get the school. And they bought the school, Siena College, and they were 50-50 co-owner of Siena College.
And the judge wanted to know whether Mr. Stanton Weatherstone understands that this case, he can be sentenced, or they can be sentenced to 20 years.
20 years.
And he said yes.
He said yes. And the judge said, I can also, the prosecution asking for 20, I can increase it, I can reduce it. And they said both answer yes.
And he also said, in addition to the forfeiture, the federal court is going to fine you minimum $250,000.
Yeah, minimum $250,000.
Yeah, to pay for all the people
Yeah,
time you wasted.
That's the minimum.
Yeah, that does not include the forfeiture and all of that. That's just the fine.
Just the fine.
So why he not
if
start
you were-
collecting money now?
If you forfeited all the properties, all your bank account. In addition, you will still.
That is why he collecting that money now. Because apparently, whatever he had in his account in America, they have frozen that. And that's why he's trying now to start soliciting money from our fellow high-earning Liberians, brothers and sisters. You guys got to be able to understand. You see, sometimes when you watch this thing, it's almost like you read a book or watch a movie for the first time. You will not catch every content in a movie. When you read a book for the first time, likewise the same thing. You will not catch every content. Now, when you look at the character of Stanton Witherspoon, how he's now masquerading, a man who was one time a goodwill individual giving money out there on a show called God Can Bless You. And out of nowhere, 360 degrees, he's now telling you his equipment, or he getting this request from, asking money from Liberians because of equipment failure. Come on, guys. This is what the show is all about. Think over it. Think about this. You see the letter A, when it's standing up, is called A. When you flip that letter A upside down and remove the middle thing, it becomes V. That is what the guy is. He's a scammer. He know how to play with people's mind. The 250,000, I believe that he might be paying. He probably had checked around and he don't have enough. So he's starting now to scam you guys. To say, you know what, if far as the 250,000 go, if I can advance the US government with 16,000, they should give me time for me to start paying. That is the trick that he's up to here, folks. Let's listen to this guy right here.
Will be fined minimum $250,000 in addition to that.
Right.
And he also made a very startling revelation that I didn't know about. He said the federal system does not have a
parole system anymore. We're in probation.
Yes, no parole first, no parole.
No parole system. So the judge said, you are waiving your rights. I want you to understand, if I sentence you today, tomorrow, or whatever time, there is no parole in the federal system.
If you are given 10 years, you're going to serve 10 years. You're going to serve
10 years.
If
you are given 20 years, you're going to serve 20 years. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Rene Benedel, yes, Your Honor. Stanton Witherspoon, yes, Your Honor. So there is no parole. There's no parole in there. Somebody was on the show last night, a drunk driver who went to jail for 2 years was on the show last night talking about he's going to be giving parole and this and that and probation. It is not within the federal system. Let's move on.
And at this point, the judge looked at both of them and said, at this point, with this plea, you have lost your right to withdraw.
You have lost your right
to withdraw.
To withdraw this guilty plea
that's correct.
that you've
So there you go, folks. Let me just bring myself to the screen here now, because this is one of the key things that I want to bring to your attention. According to these guys, and I believe them because they were at the court, and Stanton himself is unable to come and tell the truth. When you listen to this gentleman telling you and I that with this plea of guilty, you cannot reverse. You cannot beg. Don't come here, come beg all again. That's what Stanton Witherspoon failed to tell you guys. That he's a criminal. He committed a criminal act. So he had pled guilty to it. How many of our brothers and sisters who go on our platform actually understand these things? Let's forget about the people back home. Some of them are very literate enough, and that's why not every one of them listen to him. But for those back home, most especially those in America here and in other parts of the world that live in what I always call the white man land, how many of them understand what the guy just said? about the guilty plea. It's no longer alleged. He's guilty. Now let's listen to the things that follow after he pled guilty. Let's listen to that. And listen with me too. Let's listen to that.
They enter into. You lost your right. You cannot withdraw the guilty plea. You cannot have a jury trial. No. You've given up those rights. Also, the judge admonished them that with this plea today, you gave up all of your constitutional rights, which include
you will no longer be allowed to vote in this country.
The man cannot vote in this country. Let me just bring myself up here. The man can no longer vote in this country. That means he cannot talk anything about the people politics as far as voting go. Whenever there is an election, it's already in a system. Once the local election registry in his area or anywhere he move in this country, the moment they tap his knee inside, it will just come up with red flag. That's how it will be, red flag. And everything the guys are saying, it will be under his name. Because from that court, it went straight into the federal, local, and other state system. That's the man people are supporting around here. Let's listen to the next, how do you call it, the next loss of opportunity or privilege. Let's listen to the next one.
Will no longer be allowed to vote.
You will never be allowed to hold public office.
He will never be allowed to hold public office. But this is the man who on the platform want to be influencing people back there based on the nasty thing that he has done here. I hope you guys are taking cue. Please share the video with I mean, what extent of man cannot come out and tell the Liberian people about this? Why he can't come out to tell the Liberian people? This is a man who want to present himself as the angel that wear the white gown. That as soon as you touch him, you say, look, you just touch me, look at your skin here. I mean, look at your mark. The man cannot vote. He cannot hold public office. What else he cannot do in this country again? Let's listen here.
Hold public office.
You can never own firearms.
You can never own a firearm.
People own firearms to protect themselves across the country. He cannot do that. Listen here.
You would never sit on jury duty.
You would never sit on jury duty.
Jury duty is one of the fundamental rights of a good citizen in this country. He will never sit on any jury trial anymore. People who I work with, some of you guys work with these people, they are always telling you, I have a jury duty to do. He will never do that.
And those are constitutional rights, but there are other rights that they're going to also forfeit.
And guess who they're talking about here, folks? They are talking about this guy right here. This is the man they're talking about here. This man right here. This man. All right? This man right here. Federal prosecutor have charged 27 school operators and recruiters, including Stanton Witherspoon of Burlington County. Authorities allege that Witherspoon, a part owner of now closed Siena College. How dare somebody like this call himself someone who got college when he doesn't even have any credential in Broward County, Florida? Also helped to orchestrate fraudulent, I want you to pay attention to the word right here, also helped to orchestrate what? Fraudulent transcript from school. That is this guy here. This is the guy. This is what he did. And this is the guy here. Very, very embarrassing. Shame on Stanton Witherspoon. This man has brought shame to us. That's what he has done. And every time I come on my show, we will whether it's at the beginning or in the middle or at the end, I will make this my duty to tell Liberians in this country, around the world, and back home that we are all not like Stanton Witherspoon. There are hard working Liberians across the world, all around the world, that are doing extremely well, and we must recognize that commitment, that effort, and that fairness. And those who support the wrong in this country, there are people who supporting that man, they are doing jury duty in this country. And I'm speaking to Liberians. There are Liberians who support that man, they carry arms legally. There are Liberians who support that man that can apply for a public position and they will get it. Why you think they meet all the requirements? Because those Liberians are helping to be a good citizen that represent the image of this country. But in their ignorance, we have to challenge them and educate them. Aside from the other people, this list of things I just mentioned here, there are other good Liberians who don't support Stanton bad behavior because they know the behavior is bad, but they are in the same category. And our role here is to help our brothers and sisters understand that. We can live the days, folks. If our country is not doing so well because of mismanagement in the past, we cannot be in other people's country and prove that irrespective of whether we're in Liberia or outside, we are not meant to be a country or a people from a country to do better. That is why Stanton Witherspoon will continue to be brought to you on this platform. With that being said, let's move on to the next phase of our conversation here today. Let's start the ball here. All right? Let's start the ball rolling here. Tonight, and as always, we are going to be looking at the two major political parties in the country, as far as I'm concerned. The Unity Party and the CDC. Let's start and let's open the ball with this.
You gave me 6-year mandate. Now, give me my 6 years and see what I achieve. When you are not happy, when you go to the next election, you will decide what to do. The reason I'm saying this, we have a case study in this country. We know what happened. We wanted the president to go, but we did not know that it was going to affect us. The next thing, we were in refugee camps. Our path to refugee camps is over. We are moving toward prosperity. Let us bear in mind that those little incidences must not take Liberians back to where we came from. Government continues. President Taylor was here, he left, Ellen took it. She left it somewhere, we are taking it. That's why we don't blame any government. We don't say previous government. Government continues. You never have road were not paved here. We felt that, yes, maybe the time for Her Excellency Ellen Johnson was short. We have to take it from there. When we leave here, someone will take it from there.
That is a very fair statement right there, folks. That is a very fair statement. That is a very fair statement. And I must understand. And that will bring me to this place here. All right? What the president said, that is a very fair and perfect way to present this statement here from the president. And I'm going to share that with you guys shortly here. All right? Let me put this off for you to read. And let me just bring myself down here so that you can see it. It should be coming on my screen very shortly here. When the president talked about whatever Ellen did, where she left it, and this is where we started. You know where you see that? Let's read the top here. Liberia has had many presidents, and each has contributed to the country development in their own ways. That is what Mr. Weir, President Weir, is saying here.
Peace and stability.
That's what he's saying right there.
No one can take it from nowhere.
Yes, and in the presence of that, if we continue to allow people to masquerade around the town and telling people that, oh, Kush is the one that is disturbing this country rather than finding solution, it is a shame. The issue of drugs is not just limited to Liberia. In the United States, at every level, people are using drugs. The epidemic of drugs across the world is very hard and is very intense. When you listen to Joe Boakai telling you about Kush in the country, or whatever name they call it, have you ever heard from Joe Boakai what plan did he and Ellen had in place? Because remember, the Zogos are young people during the early administration who inherited that behavior from the 1989 war that lasted for 14 years, and they came and settled in the ghettos of Mossorado County and other parts of the country. My question to Joe Boakai: what plan did he and Ellen ever establish in reducing, curbing the issue of drugs importation and the prevention of the proliferation of drugs in the country? What policy did her Minister of Justice, and what process that help people accountable that Joseph Boakai can be proud of today? We are speaking on the issue. Joseph Boakai will never tell you what he and Ellen did as far as their time, 12 years of managing the country, because they didn't improve nothing in our country. You know, it's one thing to manage something, but it's another thing to improve something. They were only managing. So the question here is, what did they do that you can be a witness to and say, yes, during Joe Boakai and Ellen time, this is what they did? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. And even at this time, when Joe Boakai is even speaking, he does not even tell you what he and Ellen did. Absolutely nothing. So we're going to hold the president there, and let's try to laser focus on Joseph Boakai. Let's focus on Joseph Boakai. A man with no agenda. A man since August the 5th, when the election campaign season was launched. There's nothing that Joseph Boakai has told even the man, grandchildren he sold the very good to, how he going to make Liberia better based on his past record. But I'm going to remind you that Joe Boakai, whatever he tells you, do not believe in Joe Boakai, because Joe Boakai and Ellen squander a lot of opportunity in the country. When Joseph Boakai tells you that he will park like an old race car, he lied to you. He lied to you, and will make sure that this information is spread around. Challenge Joe Boakai supporter and share this information with them. Share this information with them. I will give you time. Let me get myself off the screen here. I'm still here. I will give you time to take a close look at this, all right, information right here. Take whatever screenshot you want to take and ask Joe Boakai. At the beginning of his political career, Joseph Boakai worked as resident manager for which entity? Liberia Produce Marketing Corporation. why Joe Boakai cannot take to any platform and tell the Liberian people when he served as resident manager. Remember, the LPMC is part of the food production. It is a subset or a support arm to the agricultural sector in our country. What did Joe Boakai do in that role that as he take to the political campaign in the country, what can he say about the role that he played? You will never hear Joe Boakai telling you what he did while he served as resident manager for LPMC. Now, Joe Boakai, after Tobo was killed, when Samuel Kayando came to office, you can see the difference there. Samuel Kayando decided to upgrade the LPMC. Yes. And Joe Boakai served in that position from 1980. That means he was returned. He served in that position from 1980 to 1982. And what did Joe Boakai achieve? Nothing. Joseph Boakai did not achieve anything at all. Though again gave him a second chance and helped elevate him to a minister level. From 1983 to 1985, Joseph Boakai served as Minister of Agriculture. What did he do? When you listen to Joe Boakai tell you today that he wants to be president, what are the issues surrounding the agricultural sector that he sees as a challenge today? And based on his past performance of what he did under the Samuel Kayando Green Revolution, what program did he put in place? How successful was that program? Why Joe Boakai is not telling you guys, the Liberian people, what he has done? You are looking at a man who has no past experience, who cannot articulate whatever he did in the past. And these are things that Liberians need to be aware of and very informed about before they even get to the ballot box. It is sad when I see many Liberians listen to these guys on different platforms and they are not disseminating what I call a well-informed information about people's performance. And I hope that you guys will share the video with some of these guys. Let them take these lack of experience gaps that Joseph Boakai doesn't have, so that Liberians on a different platform can be able to utilize this thing and help our people make an informed decision. Because at this time, Joseph Boakai only feel that only his age is the maximum requirement to get him elected. But as far as his experience goes, there is nothing. In 1992, he served as managing director of LPRC, a lower rank position than the one he served as minister. And guess what did he do there? He poorly performed again. Let's make progress here. Let us make progress here, folks. We got to move on. Let me progress. If Joseph Boakai ever tell you, if you're watching the platform for the first time, and Joseph Boakai tomorrow tells you that I will park as an old car, tell Joe Boakai you are misleading and you are not being very honest with the Liberian people. Also, I encourage you guys to take a screenshot of this. We know that Joseph Boakai is not honest because this is the man who sold a sick very good to a fuller businessman. He's not an honest man. When Joe Boakai served with Ellen for 12 years, what you're looking at right now are the responsibilities and supervision that Joe Boakai was in charge of. Joseph Boakai served as the 29th Vice President of Liberia from 2006 to 2018 under Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. And you know what was his responsibility? During the tenure, He presided over plenary, and as you know, they signed 66 bogus deal, and nothing they did. Let's get to something quickly here. All right? Let's get to something quickly here so you can see. Let's put the presentation mode down, and let's come to something so that you can get to know that Joe Boakai was never parked as an old car. Listen.
Has lifted its economic sanctions against Liberia. Liberia's information minister Louis Brown says the lifting of the sanctions should inspire confidence that Liberia is a country open and ready for development. In a letter to the Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives and the President of the Senate, President Barack Obama said Liberia has made advances to promote democracy and the orderly development of its political, administrative, and economic institutions. Obama cited Liberia's 2 consecutive democratic elections, the conviction of former President Charles Taylor, and what he called the diminished ability of those connected to Taylor to undermine Liberia's progress, as well as the lifting of UN assets freeze on Liberia. Now, Liberia's Vice President Joseph Boakai was in Washington this week, where he signed a multi-million-dollar compact. In an in-depth interview with VOA's James Buddy, he talked about the significance of the compact and a host of other issues. VOA's Zoe Ludaki reports.
So there goes Joe Boakai, a man who continued to lie to the Liberian people that he was parked as an old car. You see, my friend, history, data within history can never undo any lies but present the truth. There you go, Joe Boakai. People are giving him a handshake. People are clapping for him because he's about to sign a $250 million project, money, doing early administration. So when Joe Boakai tell you, say he was parked as an old car, where you think and why you think Joe Boakai, let me hold the video over there and bring myself on the screen here. Why you think Joe Boakai went to Washington, D.C. to sign for that money? Let's connect the dot here. Let's connect the dot. Let's come back to Joe Boakai job performance. What does it say here in the first paragraph? That he presided over the Senate plenary section. Every money that comes to the country, who sit in plenary to discuss? Isn't that the Senate? Yes. Why you think Joe Boakai went to sign for that money? Because the 66 book deal they signed, Joe Boakai was part of that. And what did he do for the country? Absolutely nothing. So when Joe Boakai tell you, say he was part as an old car, he is essentially lying to you. Because whatever budget comes to that country, it go through the Senate, through the first branch of government. And Joe Boakai presided over many of the plenary section. And they discussed the direction of the country, except that they put it in the wrong direction. Let's go back and listen to what Joe Boakai is about to say here. And then we'll come back to his function. Let's listen to Joe Boakai here now.
President Joseph Boakai was part of the delegation that signed a $257 million Millennium Challenge Corporation compact at the U.S. State Department. He said part of the money will be used on infrastructure projects such as electricity and roads, which is key to Liberia's.
So why when Joe Boakai campaigning, because according to this reporter, that the money was going to be used for road and other infrastructure. So when Joe Boakai comes on any platform, why isn't Joe Boakai telling the Liberian people that Ellie and I signed this $250 million compact project, and look at this work that we have done, and look at the work that Mr. Weir is doing now. Don't you see how better we were? Why Joe Boakai is not saying this thing? Because there was nothing that was done, and Joe Boakai knows it, because in 2017, Boakai was defeated. It is one thing to make comment about money you receive, but the applicability of that money to really sustain and become a landmark in a country is another thing, which is the very most important thing. And Joe Boakai cannot defend that because there was nothing that the lady is explaining that Joe Boakai and Ellen ever did.
Development. He added that the compact is very significant because it is also about
governance, and it does underscore the fact that we are trying to do our best to put the right institution.
You hear him? He said, we are trying to do our best. But he will come back to you and say, our part like an old car. But here is Joe Boakai telling you, we are trying to do our best. So which one of Joe Boakai do you believe? Do you believe the Joe Boakai who tells you that he will park like an old race car? Or are you listening to another Joe Boakai who is telling you that we are doing our best? You be my guest.
Into place.
Critics, however, express doubts that this will solve Liberia's electricity problem that has persisted for decades. Mr. Boakai argues that Liberia's problem did not just start 10 years ago.
Oh, really, Joe Boakai? So Joe Boakai want you to understand that Liberia problem did not start 10 years ago. So when Joe Boakai talk about people living in poverty, people children in the street, so when did it start? He said it didn't start 10 years ago because they were in their 10 years of their service to the people of the country, right? You see how dishonest this man is? That's how dishonest he is. Let me progress the folk. We are pressed for
We
time.
inherited that problem, and it's not that we are not doing anything about it.
Oh, you inherited a problem. So when Mr. Weir comes out and say, oh, we inherited this problem here, we are doing everything possible, and then Joe Boakai will come and tell you, say, look what they're doing. They're sending their children to school. They're doing this. Joe Boakai has no solution for this country called Liberia. He has no solution wherever he works. All right? So let me progress.
Just about the time the hydro project was to commence, that's when the Ebola fell, and everybody left the country. There are other facilities put into place, like the HFO machines that are put into place that will be able to provide more than 40 megawatts of electricity. So electricity is on the go.
So why can't you talk about that now, Joe Boakai? Because before you left, there was nothing like electricity, but there was something like Chinese light electricity.
As Liberia enters a post-Ebola era, Mr. Boakai says care centers are in place to monitor people recovering from the deadly virus.
We are putting into place the infrastructure necessary to...
You're hearing again, you're hearing again, we are putting in place the necessary infrastructure. So why Joe Boakai would say nothing is being done? Joe Boakai fooled this woman here and he lied to the woman. Nothing concrete he and Ellen did.
Contain the situation and also to make sure that Liberians do not go through this, not just for Ebola, but epidemic in general. So the basic infrastructure for the prevention and also the immediate arrest of Ebola
may often extend beyond a presidential term. The Liberian vice president also announced that he will...
What did Joe Boakai say again? Listen to
and the
him.
challenges we have.
Mr. Boakai explained that rebuilding the country's infrastructure is a lengthy process and one that may often extend beyond a presidential term.
So you hear that? Joe Boakai, let me just bring myself out here. Did you hear what Joe Boakai just say? Joe Boakai told the journalists that rebuilding a broken country go beyond their 12 years. But this is the Joe Boakai that will come back today and tell you that the people did nothing. And they coming to can't save things. But you remember Joe Boakai just said that restructuring and rebuilding a country go beyond 12 years. So when Joe Boakai made that statement and he coming back today, and he's not even telling you what he and Ellie managed to do, and he coming by and holding a mic. Look at them. They're doing this, they're doing that. You guys are staring at a dark past that Joe Boakai is trying to bring into your present. This man got no vision, no plan. Let's listen to what he said here. Listen to this again.
The Liberian vice president also announced that he will run for the top seat to succeed President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf during the 2017 presidential elections. He said he is running on Sirleaf government's record that includes peace.
And that's the record we keep asking for. When will Joe Boakai run on the record? Running on the record means Joe Boakai should be telling you guys what did he do along with Ellen. What did both of them do that make Liberia a better country? Let's move down here quickly here, folks. So as you can see here, Joseph Boakai, do not let him lie to you. Joseph Boakai was not parked as an old car. The first paragraph here shows that Joe Boakai presided over the Senate plenary section for 2 days each week of his 12 years with Ellen. And they made significant decisions that benefited them and not the people of Liberia. And the second part of Joe Boakai's function also include he performed supervisory function over several institutions and agencies, and then including the Liberia National Lotteries. What did Joe Boakai do there? The Liberia Marketing Association, what did he do? The Liberia Agency for Community Empowerment. This man talk about community are disenchanted. What did he do for the community? And then the National Commission on Disarmament, Demobilization, Resettlement, and Reintegration. What did Joe Boakai do? I tell you what he do. Joe Boakai did not do nothing. All Joe Boakai did was merrymaking and having good time. And having good time, that's what Joe Boakai did. He did nothing. Because you know why? Joe Boakai and Ellen, this is what they did to the Liberian people. Remember this? There was video that showed the kids in the Congo Town area breaking rocks during Joe Boakai and Ellen time. And all Ellen was doing was to just sit down and laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh and enjoy their 12 years of being very, very unproductive. That is what they did. During the Ellen and Boakai administration in January of 2015, in Grand Crook County, a 14-year-old girl died as a result of injuries she sustained when she was raped. That was Joe Boakai and Ellen time. You see right up here, check this report out here. It is at the unionmission.org. Go and check that report out. On the 14th of June 2015, in Monserrado County, an unidentified man adopted and raped a 13-year-old girl. She was rushed to the hospital the following day, but was pronounced dead. That was Joe Boakai. That was Joe Boakai. Joe Boakai claimed to be somebody who loved the country. But I will leave you with this one here. I'm not sure about this one, but I want to make sure that you follow up on this. This picture is telling me that Samuel Kanyadu, who overthrew Tobo, I'm being told, and I want someone to verify this photo, that the Tobo who gave Joe Boakai his break to work in government, Joe Boakai was part of the execution of Tobo. I'm yet to confirm that. That's what I'm saying. This guy standing behind Doe looked like VP Boakai. Maybe I could be wrong. What do you think? Is this VP Joe or not? Think about that for a second, folks. Let's move on to the next phase here. Let's look at Mr. Weir here. All right? Let's look at Mr. Weir here. And let's see what Mr. Weir is made out of here, folks. Mr. Weir, prior to becoming president of Liberia, this is something that you cannot argue about. He started humanitarian work, helping people out there. That's what he did. He went out there and helped people. Do you remember the photo here? Yes. During the Ebola time, as senator, Mr. Weir participated and went to France and brought in some medical supply as a senator to help fight against Ebola. Many of you guys forgot this image, but I still remember that. Today, when we ask the question, which president is better today than all the other presidents? These are things that Mr. Weah is campaigning on today. This is a written document that is all over the world. And this is what Mr. Weah is doing. Liberia has had many presidents, and each has contributed to the country development in their own ways. However, one of the most recent presidents who has made significant strides in uplifting Liberia and its people out of poverty is George Weah. How? Well, in 2022, President Weah launched an ambitious accelerated community development program that aimed to help Liberians climb out of poverty, improve their living standard, live a healthier life and longer life while reducing gross inequality between the rural and urban areas. The program will focus on poor people with limited access to basic social services and infrastructure in rural and urban areas. These are things that people are not telling the Liberian people. The government aim is to mobilize $100 million for the first 3 years of the program, 2022 to 2025, with support from UNDP. The government of Liberia is currently negotiating with other development partners to secure the full financing needed to lift all Liberians out of poverty by 2030. The government of Liberia, they got their target. What was Joe Boakai and Ellen Johnson Sirleaf's target? That's my question here. What did Joe Boakai and Ellen Johnson Sirleaf target? Ellen was head of the SDS, the Sustainable Development, the Sustainable Development something, the SD, I don't recall the last S. But what did Ellen and Joe Boakai did for the people of Liberia? Absolutely nothing. So today, when you listen to Mr. Weah on the campaign trail, but before we get to Mr. Weah, let's be honest here with Joe. Let's listen to Joe's past record and see what people make of Joe Boakai. Let's listen to Joe Boakai's past record. And let's understand what the people said about Joe Boakai.
I say no to Mr. Joe. Let Joe go back, man. Let Joe go back in the bush. That they play he belong because he do nothing here a woman early. They do nothing for our country. So let them go back to the play. They will not get one vote here. We tired today. We tired tomorrow.
So remember, in 2017, Joe Boakai wanted to continue Ellen Johnson Sirleaf's poor performance and legacy. He was denied, the party was rejected. Since that time, Joe Boakai became homebound. He sit in a wheelchair at home and enjoy himself. He never gained any experience, but he lost enough mental fitness, physical fitness, because he's not well right now. So with that, the same record, where he left that record in 2017, that's the same Joe Boakai man wants to come back here. But we'll remind the Liberian people about what the people said about Joe Boakai again. Let's listen here.
I'm Jackson William. You see, my brother, this is a little business that I made to support my 5 children. During the year 2005, Madam Seri told us that there were going to be free primary education, especially free primary education. And she told us there will be a lot of job facility and company than ever before. And she said also there was going to be a stop to corruption, and corruption was going to be her worst enemy. And I think she set precedent on Judy Bryant. But after Judy Bryant died and all of the rest of her ministers were just transferred to another ministry for corruption, I see the election to be very critical. And one thing I should tell the Liberian people is to get the United Party out of Liberia completely, because they are people like the demonic forces that is hanging over Liberia, trying to suck our blood and destroy our children and great-grandchildren future. They are. I'm talking to say that I'm very bad because you talk about the man they call Joseph Boakai in today's way. I'm against it totally. I'm against the entire United Party. Let government.
So meaning you are saying no to Joe, right?
No to Joseph Boakai. No to the United Party. Let it go our way. Let it live off. Let us live our peaceful life. Let our children go to school happily, and let Papa come home with black plastic bag filled with rice, pepper, chicken soup, and let the children be happy.
So, let's go back to 2017 and ask ourselves, the statement the guy made since 2017, what has changed in Joe Boakai's life? What has Joe Boakai managed to do between 2017 to today that he wants to be president? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Listen to Joe Boakai here, speak here right now. Listen to him.
We're here for young women and even the disadvantaged. And we want to see here that no resource of a country is wasted under good leadership.
Yes. A man who said we squander opportunity is the same man 18 years later or 6 years later after their 12 years is coming to tell you about wasted opportunities. Come on, Librarian, you're better than this, man.
No, I gave him. He's physically challenged, but so can any of us be anytime. What makes him different? He speaks the language. He builds the integrity. He is surviving, living, without going around to people with begging. We want to get our disabled off the street and give them big, decent place to live.
What did you do, Joe Boakai? You were part and parcel of the group of 77. What did you do? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Hear what people saying about your past, Joe Boakai. Listen here, folks.
My name is Loretta. We have one father's government. The Joe made you talking about as a land Joe grew this government for the 2 years. For the 2 years, not small years. And then there is nothing that you can show. I can show you like brand people. So for that reason, we are not satisfied with Joe.
And that's why when Joe is speaking, he speaks not to
They
you.
are citizens just like any of us.
Okay.
They have parents. They didn't create those circumstances on themselves.
But what did you guys do
A
on
good
Ellen 12
society
years?
must look after
What
everybody.
did you guys do on Ellen 12 years? Listen to this guy.
You said when I offered Joe said he comes to work there. I'm not saying because he is corrupted. The whole government is corrupted. For one fact, right now our children, you see younger than me, I say you go here. I said you say you go. When my child is
So she talking about her time on Joe and Ellen. There was issue with school. But let's listen to Joe here again.
Our children on drugs, we want to tell them they have a future.
Really?
A reckless society doesn't care.
What future? Regular society doesn't care. So what did they get say here on Joe Boakai in 2017 along with Ellen?
You say you won't go see a child to school, my dear. The money that will cost it. The money why you can up to or TV or data. So again, market will make it so even our children's school fee. Again, manage them, my dear. So for everything we tire.
Just a brief for me, I'm not satisfied because You know, for the government have been really up to this time, or 2 days the last time. But we have been disappointed by the government. And me especially, more especially having to do with our leader, which is the president. Yeah, and the Creole government has the most educated government, but now the Creole government has what? The most corrupt government. So what? If good, then what bad? So that's my problem, really. She said you have no control over prices for what as a leader? Then what have control over prices? So for me, right now, although I done all the finish, but I don't think I can vote to that government because it's the same government. When you get in power, it will be the same government because she will control him. Yeah. So for
And that's true. Because when you listen to Joe Boakai, it's going to be the same government because he's not saying what he and Ellen managed to do for the Liberian people, including the young men. Listen to Joe Boakai. He's not telling you anything. He said he was going to run on Ellen record. He's not telling you anything that he and Ellen did together. Listen to Joe Boakai here.
People, they believe about themselves. What's happening in this country is that we are looking at the prices of goods.
Oh, really?
Essential commodities.
Oh, really?
And that because they put some taxes on them.
Okay, let's listen to the guy.
Not very good. Even see Joe Boakai giving us as a leader. Then what? By the government.
It's not making sense. Even our children's school fee, they can't manage him at there. So for the reason we tire.
Just beef.
Your child is in school. When you go to the school house, you say you want go see your child at school material. The money that will cost it. The money why you get.
All right, so let's come back to that kind of
make them so expensive.
Okay.
That people have to go around.
Let's listen to Joe.
We are looking at the prices of goods, essential commodities.
Okay.
And that because they put some taxes on them.
So what did you guys do during your time? Let's listen to the lady. Let's listen to the lady here, folks. Let's listen to the lady here. What did they do during their time? Ready? Let's go.
No to the United Party. Let it go our way. Let it leave us. Let us live our peaceful life. Let our children go to school happily. And let Papa come home with black plastic bag filled with rice, pepper, chicken soup, and let the children be happy.
And here's Loretta, we have one father's government. The Joe May is talking about as a land Joe grew this government for the 2 years. For the 2 years, not small years. And then there is nothing that I can show you like grand people. So for that reason, we are not satisfied with Joe. We want him no more again. Even when I offered Joe, he offered to work there. I'm not satisfied because he is corrupted. The whole government is corrupted. For one fact, right now, our children, you see, younger than me, I say you go here, I say you say you go. When my child is in school, but when you go to the school house, you say you want to go see your child at school material, the money that will cost it, the money why you get up to TV or data.
Our Jordan administration. So when Joe, what the guy is saying here, let's hear what Joe's saying here now today. He's not talking about the thing he and Ellen did because that record is bad. Let's listen to him here.
That people have to go around and beg. This is not a society that we're looking at. We are here to let you know
who the we and what did you do in the past. There is absolutely nothing that Joe Boakai did in the past. All right? Nothing Joe Boakai did in the past. This man got no message for the people of Liberia. He got no message. Let me progress here, folks. We are pressed with time here. Let me progress here. All right? When you listen to this president, let's listen to this president here.
You know the work I'm doing. And that's why I'm here today to tell you. To give me another 6 years or 12 years too, so you can compare just we are 12 years to the part of 12 years.
There you go. There you go. That is the logic that we want here. Liberian, that's the logic. You cannot compare a half-full battle with a complete full battle. Joe Boakai said he been running a campaign. When last did you hear Joe Boakai coming on and say, look, from 2006 to 2011, this is what we did. Ellen and myself. This is what we did for Liberia. Get the evidence out there. Joseph Boakai cannot say that. But when you listen to Mr. Weir, he's saying something completely different. He's throwing all the challenge to them. But Joe Boakai cannot even explain what they have achieved. Let's listen here.
President, Vice President, your candidates on our tickets of the Democratic Coalition. I want you to join me. Their mob is not Bible. Even though they are pastors, they tell you that they are mob not Bible. So when a pastor tells you say mob not Bible, that means a liar. Right? If a pastor, anybody that preaches church and tells you everything I say, my mother Bible, so that means that pastor is a liar. You understand? If a pastor can be talking to a young man and insult and use the word that you're not supposed to use, then you can conclude. So let us not focus on these people. You know, I came here to you 2017. They told you that I know nothing against a man footballer, but I've done something. And I can only say thank you. It's because of you today, everything I achieved, you voted for me. So I'm back.
Yeah, the president there, he's talking about achievement. The thing I achieved. But you got a man who has been in power for 45 years, serving in different capacity. He cannot tell you what he achieved. Let me progress.
Back to you to say, you voted for me, everything that is left undone in this country. There was so much. And today, I'm doing it bit by bit. The 12 years they had, they did not do anything.
That's true. That's true. Listen here. The 12 years. Let Joe Boakai tell you what they did for 12 years. Let Joe Boakai. Let's start with Joe Boakai here. Joe Boakai versus George Weir. This is Joe Boakai here at the ATS yesterday.
Itself.
What did you do,
a
Joe?
Society that we think that they will live on lies and deception.
Okay.
And still want to develop.
So what did you do?
You can't have such a society.
What did you do?
When I'm coming up the stairs, you saw somebody holding my hand?
No.
You saw me with wheelchair?
Yes. Your wheelchair in the car. You wheelchair. Yes. That picture we posted about you will go in your car with that bicycle with a wheelchair behind it. Yes, Joe Boakai. I will post that picture again tomorrow. You using a wheelchair, but that's not what we're talking about here. We're not talking about wheelchair here. We're talking about deliverable here. Let's go ahead, Joe Boakai.
That's not what the Liberians will live on.
Okay.
The Liberians are not going to live on lies and deceit. The Liberians this time want the truth.
What is the truth?
Besides you who are here, many of our people left. They are in the diaspora.
Get to the point, Joe.
They
Get to the
all
point.
want to come home.
Okay.
We must create a home for them to come to.
What home? What home did you
Over the years, this country has just gone backward and backward and backward.
So what did you and Ellen do? Over the years, the country has gone backward and backward and backward. What did you and Ellen do? Listen to the president here making his case against Joseph Boakai here.
Everything with us. So the best thing you will do for us, members of the coalitions and the WIASH and what have you, is to give George Weir a 12-year too, so you can compare George Weir 12 years to their part of 12 years.
The man cannot, the Joe Boakai man cannot even tell you about his first 6 years. Let's listen to him here again.
We are here to give you hope. We are here to give you hope in your economy. We are here to make sure that our young people are prepared for the future.
The man telling you say he here to give you hope. But this is a man who served for 12 years and he cannot tell you what achievement they gave, but he said he coming with hope. You were there for 12 years with Ellen, and Joe Boakai cannot tell you what hope they gave to the people. What hope? Let's bring the lady in here again.
So I can't market will make it any pay watching school fee. I can't manage him at there. So for everything we tire.
Cassidy Biflo, which is the president. Problem, very. To replace the government because she will control him. Yeah.
Well, anyway, go come over at 3540. We have to go over at 2000. We used to buy for us on the park in a bush, but now buying it 200 now. Go there, now 450.
So that Joe Boakai then 12 years, the people talking about here. After Joe Boakai then 12 years in office, that is what the lady is explaining. And we got to understand. In 2017, after Joe Boakai then got done with 12 years, this is what the lady is summarizing here. Let's listen to her here. And we'll go back to Joe.
We suffer.
Let it down there. You see all the dead over there. They always just say, move your daddy. Yeah, you down there. Yeah, you down there. Yeah, you there. That was 2017. Let me progress here, folks.
Too much.
And by the way, before I forget, let me bring myself up here. Wasn't Joe Boakai on the Liberal Marketing Association? Of course. He was on the Marketing Association, right? Let's go back to what Joe Boakai was before. Where Joe Boakai functioned on the Liberal Marketing Association board here. Yeah, I forgot about something here. Let's go back. The marketing and something here. Was it the Joe Boakai position here? Yes. Joe Boakai was on what? The Liberal Marketing Association. He served there, the LMA. All right? Right after the Liberal National Lottery, Joe Boakai Marketing Association. He was there. So where in the world this lady, after 12 years, is complaining about Joe Boakai?
School, you go to school, you just say a child. The money na le okwa, they used to say government school. But now when you go register a child in government school, you will pay money 5,000 or 3,000. Yeah, so our children are suffering. We don't have correct, even hospital, even your child say if only when they go to the hospital, they'll just say pay money before you hold your child in the hospital.
And so what can Joe Boakai say? Let's come to Joe Boakai here now. We'll go to the President. What you can say, Joe Boakai?
For young women, and even the disadvantaged. And we want to see here that no resource of a country is wasted under good leadership.
So what did you and Eddie do, Joe? Look,
yeah, Noah gave him. He's physically challenged, but
Noah Gacy been in that time, he was blind for 12 years. You gave him even a king to walk on. And you were head of group of 77. Joe Boakai got nothing to defend his record. Let's listen to the president here.
You will see that we will leave a legacy. So tomorrow, nobody will judge us wrongly. I am your friend, I am your father, I am your brother, I am your family. You live in the ghettos, I live in the ghetto. If those that know me for years, they will tell you, I live right opposite you in Boakai. I play for Bon Range. And I used to come to the border right here in Cap City and spend my entire day when I'm not playing. So I know this vicinity. So you can see where I'm from. I'm from the ghetto, but the ghetto did not define me. And this is why when during our time, it was difficult to go to school because our parents would not pay our school fees.
There you go.
And you listen to your leader here, Follow Magim. I remember when he was a young man came to my house on down the street, even in Samuel 12 looking for school fees. That's the Follow Magim here today. You see, so every child are paying school fee for in this era, we believe that giving free education is a milestone. So the giving free education and paying free wise fee is not a bluff. Because the
whole thing here, folks. Let's come back to the lady here. Let's come back to the lady here. All right. Let's come back to the lady. This lady that we're talking here. Let's come back to her here. All right. Let's listen to the lady here. Let's see tell her what happened on Joe Boakai then leadership when it comes to education.
The man they call Joseph Boakai into this way. I'm against it totally. I'm against the entire Unity Party. Let government.
So meaning you are saying no to Joe, right?
No to Joseph Boakai. No to the United Party. Let it go our way. Let it live up. Let us live our peaceful life. Let our children go to school happily. And let Papa come home with black plastic bag filled with rice, pepper, chicken soup, and let the children be happy.
My name is Loretta. We have one father's government. The Joe made he put talking about as a land Joe ruled this government for the 2 years. For the 2 years, not small years. And then there is nothing that you can show. I can show you like brand people. So for that reason, we are not satisfied with Joe. We want him no more again. He said when I offered Joe said he comes to work there. I'm not satisfied because he is corrupted. The whole government is corrupted. For one fact. Right now, our children, you see, younger than me, I say equal here. I say we say equal. When I'm a child, your child is in school. But when you go to the schoolhouse, you say you won't go see your child to school, my dear. The money that will cost it, the money why you can up to or TV or data.
There you go there. There you go there, folks. There you go there. Now, let's come to the president here because this was a 12-year evaluation of school and other challenges. Now, when you listen to the president here, let us listen to the president.
Not given to us.
Okay.
So, what we do for you because you have confidence in us, and that's why we're doing our best. Now, I listened to the superintendent. He asked for a park, and he said we should replicate Invisible Park here. But let me say something to you. You gave us 6 years. In the 6 years, we have 15 counties.
Yes.
The project of build parks in the 15 counties is ongoing.
Yes.
And the only way we can complete and our projects, of course, if we get enough time. Remember, we said that in Bon County, Magibi, what we did in Morovia Invisible Park, what we did in Clarendon.
So let me hold the president there. You see how the president is outlining his situation, the project they had completed, the time interval, the ongoing project, why they need 6 years. When you listen to Joe Boakai, what has Joe Boakai told you that he and Ellie did in 6 years? Do you think if Joe Boakai then had done something in 6 years, those ladies out there that are explaining about Joe Boakai failed policy along with Ellie after 12 years? Somebody asking me, what do people think? Joe Boakai record remain unchanged since 2017. He never did anything different. Only by sitting there in a wheelchair. Joe Boakai to be in a wheelchair in your own house, but he doesn't want to show it. I understand. As someone who respects the HIPAA law, I'm not going to go pull or go ask somebody to go into Joe Boakai and go videotape it. But when Joe Boakai home, he is in a wheelchair. They carry in a wheelchair like this. But when the moment he comes outside, that when he can get out to walk. A man who sat down for 6 years in wheelchair now want to come and tell you that he want to be president when he has not done anything. Listen to the president here. All right? Let's listen to the president here.
Sleeping. Because I is sleeping here when the other president. So it's sad. It's a shit. I'm a kind person and I got respect for Adam. And that's why even let me extend my sympathy to Honorable Boakai, and I hope that you get well. You know, that's somebody that respect, and that's why every time he's sick, I send him to the hospital. But what I want to say.
But he does say he went to a regional conference though.
It's not a joke. This is not a joke. This is serious.
Can you hold this, please?
What happened the other day is a disgrace to our society for someone that wants to be president. They're telling them, make me president, and the person lying to you. He says he's going to the hospital. I could be saying and say, Liberian, I'm going to the hospital, I'm going to treat myself. There's nothing wrong with that. Manasali was sick so many times, she went to the state. Every person that's sick, of course the nation knows, it's nothing to her. The day I'm sick, if I get malaria, I say I'm sick.
Yes.
The good to announce the citizens so they can know.
Never do that.
You understand? But to lie to the people when you say it's a bad thing. I can be president, you lie. And the worst thing that they did, and I hope that Liberians stop doing these things. They are telling you that
will never do that. The
Joseph
president is
Boakai
right.
went
Listen
to
to this.
ECOWAS meeting.
The president is right. Listen to this. Listen to this. The president is right. He lied too much.
I have no heart surgery. I have no heart disease.
Yeah, they're lying you.
And yes, I went to hospital. But I'm very fit.
You want to do your physical, right?
Pardon?
You want to do your physical?
They're a pacemaker.
Yes. Okay.
Let's get back to the president.
Joseph Boakai go to an ECOWAS meeting, and the photo that they sent you, first of all, they took away me and President Macky Sall image to prove that Joseph Boakai went to ECOWAS meeting. They took President Akufo-Addo of Ghana, take Joseph Boakai head, put it on the president, and say that he ain't ECOWAS meeting. That's a joke.
And a lie.
You impersonated. You want to be president, you impersonated other president?
Yes, that's
And they
a
put
lie.
it in the meeting, but you know the worst thing that happened? The photo that they put there, Akufo-Addo was sleeping. Because he's sleeping here when they put on the other president. You know, so it's sad. It's a shame. It's a shame. Because other countries will get angry. And then the meeting that I went to, you took me for the picture because you want to project that your leader is not safe. You take me for the picture, but the actual picture is there because the day we made President Excellency Tinubu chairman of ECOWAS, we were in that meeting. And you get the actual picture. That is wrong. How can you be impersonating? You want to be president of Liberia and you impersonating? So you see, they're not honest with you. If I don't go to meeting, why would I not say I go to meeting?
That's a
And this is not going to take it serious. And somebody lie, and that's why those that campaigning for them are constantly lying.
Of course, of course.
For the vice president to come and tell you, say, he the one carry or electricity to Nimba County. It's a joke. The least you can do, even though you told people that I know nothing, but what I have achieved.
Yes.
Let the people know that, yeah, we overlooking that he didn't know anything. But everything that he's doing, this is the doing. If the people decide to vote for you, to vote for you, you don't need to lie.
That's honesty. That's honesty.
You understand? So this is serious. To try to change the image of ECOWAS just for your political leader to be on it, that's is unfair to Africa, and that's wrong. You understand? So they need to stop. They need to stop. My friends and family, I can tell you, I am the right choice. I am the right choice. I have never lied to you before. I never lied to you. Everything I said, I remember when we stood on the pickup here at the square. I said to you, I want to change the face of the country. I want to build your roads so you can be connected to our neighboring country. Right in the square, I said it. I did not say anything that I'm not doing. Everything I say I will do, that's what I'm doing. Yes. So you see, I'm in consonance with what I said to you. I did not lie. And I'm telling you, if you gave me another 6 years, I can do more. I can do more, I can continue the work I'm doing.
So the president is actually trying to make a case here that my 6 years, you can see the development. And if you give me another 6 years, I can do more. What about Joe Boakai? They were there for 12 years. Joe Boakai should be telling you, pointing you, look this way, look that way. Those are the things that Eddie and I did. Joe Boakai cannot do none of those things. So why people behind Joe Boakai? Is it because you're just angry with the president? Because you got nothing. You got nothing. Tomorrow we'll bring Jean Diba video. Jean Diba has crossed over to the CDC. We will be analyzing that tomorrow. And I want you guys to listen. Let's try to finish up with the president conversation here tonight.
Prisoner in this country. So you see, our country is getting better. And I think we can improve on it. So I'm asking you to go to the polls and vote for George Mane Opo Bakukwe Mane Ria. Amanda! 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 Oh! They want to laugh to the teaching our picture in the aircraft. Say! You beat them before, you will beat them again. Say! You spend 12 years and they do nothing. We spend 5 hours doing more. Say! There you go. The power pass, now the month for everything's for us. They see new hospital in our country, they are always saying, even in the old villages that we are paying the road, they see no road. Everywhere they go, they sleeping because they tired. The Martin Congress, the Martin Coalition will defeat them in your presence. Amanda! 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 Jaja! 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 Martin Coalition, Jaja! God bless you.
Let's do one more. Let's do one more again. One more.
Amanda! 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 Oh. Qui c'est qu'on a pensé ça? They see people will defeat them, they come again, will defeat them again. They not new people that they see people who will defeat them. Say, how can a man that stay 40 years in government, he not do nothing, coming back say he can do something? Say, I say to you, don't mind them, don't mind them, don't mind them. Say, the people that cannot give you free school fees, join me again to you. They say, Momo, say, the developmental president of the Republic of Liberia. Say, to what another will cause who can defeat and say, Amanda! Amanda! God bless you.
All right. So guys, I would like to say a big thank you to every one of you guys for taking your time out. You know, at the end of the show, I usually like to, mesmerize myself, or let's say enjoy myself with the president chanting. That's something that I really love. And I think it motivated me a lot, and it gave me the courage to always come back. But I think as we edge towards the end of this month, looking forward to October, I think the Unity Party-led government, the Unity Party leader, in person of Joseph Boakai, from the Unity Party prior or period 12 years administration, they had done nothing to justify their re-election. Joseph Boakai, from the day he started public service in the 70s to the day he left in 2017, he has been very, very, very unable to actually present his past performance record in each role, and not to mention as vice president of Liberia for 12 years. we have managed and will continue to present to you guys the role and the position that Joseph Boakai had throughout his public service life in the country. It will surprise you that Joseph Boakai on the campaign trail is yet to define, to tell you what he managed to accomplish individually, whether the time he served as resident manager for LPMC and then director for LPMC. Joe Boakai cannot articulate any success or any successful story that he delivered in that role. From 1983 to 1985, Joe Boakai served as Minister of Agriculture. During that time, there was an African Cooperative and Development Bank. Joe Boakai cannot tell you how many farmers across the country benefited from that bank. The Carey Research Institution in Bangabong County was a subset to the Ministry of Agriculture to boost the production of food in the country. Joe Boakai, in our same role as minister, is yet to tell you what he did. The Liberia Produce Marketing Corporation, it was also a subset that report or collaborated with the Ministry of Agriculture. Joe Boakai had those responsibility, and when he comes out to talk to the people of Liberia as to why he should be elected as president, public service is about past record, what you have done in the past, because you are essentially trying to sell your resume out there to be the best candidate. Joseph Boakai, owner Ellen Johnson said for 12 years, came out and misinformed the people of Liberia that he was parked as an old race car. But that was not true. You and I read the responsibility of Joe Boakai. We saw how Joe Boakai traveled to the United States and signed for $250 million. And he spoke about infrastructure and he supported Ellen and said we are doing things together. But where is that we when it comes to Joe Boakai standing on a platform and looking at his fellow Liberians to tell them what he and Ellen did? Since 2017, Joe Boakai got defeated. There's nothing Joe Boakai managed to do over the past 5.5 years. But now Joe Boakai want to come back. And coming back. He's not coming back to tell you what he and Ellen did. He tried to run away from that record. And there's no way Joe Boakai can run away from that record. Because his performance by providing supervisory role over the Liberia Marketing Association, the Liberia Lottery, and the Community for Empowerment, Joe Boakai did not do anything. The only thing that Joe Boakai is doing today is the same thing he did many years ago. As a young man in Lofa County, he took a sick baby goat to a food businessman and lied to the businessman and sold that sick baby goat after feeding that baby goat with a very big bucket of water that was mixed with salt. In 2017, Joe Boakai came with that same baby goat story. The people rejected it. Today, Joe Boakai is not well. Today, Joe Boakai is not running on any of his record. But Joe Boakai is bringing the same baby goat story. But this time around, he is coming as the baby goat himself. The physical look of Joe Boakai, he's not allowing people to present him as the way he is. People are using the digital age now to make Joe Boakai look more younger than what he is. Kind of remind you of what Joe Boakai did to that food businessman. If Joe Boakai can take the manual approach to feed a sick baby goat, what more about a digital approach that can make me to look younger or to look older, and he using that same image? You are dealing with a man who is very dishonest. Not only is he dishonest, Joe Boakai is also desperate. His desperation is incorporating into his circle people who are criminal in this country. A man by the name of Stanton Witherspoon, who is on the wrong side of history in the United States, who brought shame, like somebody said, not only to Liberia, but to Africa. It's the man that is the campaign finance man for Joe Boakai. That's who Joe Boakai is. He's one of the most dangerous men that want to take the country backward. And I think Liberians need to understand that in order for Liberia to move forward, Joe Boakai got to be left behind. He cannot go forward. I'm not against Joe Boakai because of his age. I'm only telling you that Joe Boakai is very incompetent to be president of that country. Reasons: one, the very role Joe Boakai served never did anything that delivered results. Never. Joe Boakai recruitment strategy is a clear indication that he's not ready to be what he thinks he is. And that disproves his 47 years or 57 years in office. Joe Boakai currently run a web page where he talk about agriculture, he talk about sanitation, he talk about education. Joe Boakai is copying people, platforms, their work, and incorporated that onto his platform or his web page. There is nothing on that web page that shows Joe Boakai work in the past. There is no information, case study, deliverable, whether it was during the LPMC day, the Ministry of Agriculture, or even our vice president. But he said he got a web page where he has his agenda. Not even the arrest is on there. You are dealing with a man who is a second con artist. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to say thank you so much for the opportunity. God bless you guys. We'll be back here tomorrow. Hopefully when we do, we will be bringing Jean Salinsa interview on OKFM, and we'll provide another forensic analysis and try to mirror that with his past and try to catalog that to the future of where and why Mr. Deba believed that George Weah is the way forward. You may disagree with me all you want, but here what I would like to leave with you for those of you that support Joe Boakai. And that is a question. Why Joe Boakai is not using Ellen record as a way to prove to the Liberian people that what he and Ellen did together, it was better for the first 6 years and it was better for the second 6 years with a combined 12 years. Why Joe Boakai is not doing a side-by-side comparison, utilizing and using Ellen record. I want you to think about that. This election on this platform in Liberia, we are looking at the issue, those who had the solution, those who identify the issue, and those who will provide solution and change the direction of the country. Mr. Weah, he has said on many occasions that he has put in place things that he promised, and he points to those things. And furthermore, he's asking for another 6 years in order to have an even comparison. Adding 6 years, George Weah 6 years. Adding second 6 year, George Weah second 6 year, combined or 12 years combined. And let's make that comparison. And I think that is a fair way to measure George Weah. Because Joe Boakai cannot even explain adding first 6 years and the 12 years combined. He can't do that. But George Weah is doing well to explain his accomplishment for the first 6 years. So where do you look? Somebody that is unable to explain the 12 years and somebody that just explained the 6 years. Think about that. And may God bless you guys. J. Rennie is out of here. Please don't forget to send your contribution. If you don't send your contribution, I'll be dropping Joe Boakai wheelchair to your house. And you'll be in that wheelchair. I don't know how Joe Boakai is going to get to you, but he will come for his wheelchair. All right? We do not need a wheelchair president right now. Our country needs people who will be ready and ready at all times. Until then, have yourself a blessed night. God bless you guys. Good night.